Hey guys, today we're taking a look at my updated Infernity deck. Just changed some things around. Infernities are basically just this archetype that has effects that activate when you have no cards in your hand. The idea is to just get rid of all your cards, activate their effects, start swarming, bringing out XYZs or Synchros based on your build. Most Infernity decks run pretty much the same amount of monsters. It depends on what you're trying to do. You know, some of the decks just focus on pure XYZ, which is not what I'm trying to do. I'm opening the door for more synchro power, but it's up to you, and I'll go over some of that in the extra deck. But for now, just going to go over the cards that make this deck work. So first off, Infernity Necromancer, so just allowing you to special summon Infernitys really easily, so definitely very important for the deck. And then Infernity Archfiend, somewhat of a beater, also allows you to special summon very quickly, so it gives you some advantage, and you can get this guy out and get multiple copies out very quickly, and works really well with Necromancer. And then two Summoner Monk. So Summoner Monk kind of has a double effect that's really helping us out here, getting rid of our hand easily by dumping spell cards and summoning things out, so we can make plays very quickly with this card. Stygian Street Patrol, also letting us get rid of our hand very quickly to special summon our fiends, just making things work out really quick, which is nice. You could definitely run another copy of this if you want, so that's out there if you want to do that. And then Dark Grepher and Armageddon Knight, both helping you do the same things. They both have those effects that send things to the graveyard. Dark Grepher helping you dump things, so very nice. Just fits in really well with the deck, making everything efficient and getting the graveyard all set up. And then one Infernity Avenger, so a very powerful card when this gets set up, just allowing you to make him a level 4 tuner, so you can easily bring him back and bring out those 8-star synchros that are usually kind of annoying to get out, but you have this level 4 dark tuner, so it'll be very nice and can really set up some crazy stuff on the field because of how you can keep abusing his effect over and over. And then Infernity Mirage, so just giving you access to a nice play that you can special summon your Infernities to set up what you need, which is very nice. Going to have a very low monster count. You know, monsters can be one of the things that are more dead in your hand than other things, so you definitely only want monsters that will allow you to get them out very quickly, and most of the monsters in this deck just, you know, allow us to do that. I wouldn't recommend, you know, running something like Dark Arm Dragon, even though it could be very powerful. There are times where it'll be dead and your deck will be pretty much dead because you need cards that can get out very quickly and, you know, don't have a stiff requirement like that card. So now for the spell cards, I'm going to be running one Infernity Launcher. Obviously it's at one, very powerful card to dump your hand and then bring back Infernity monsters, so very powerful. One Archfiend Palabyrinth, giving us some additional power, which is nice early on, and its effect can be pretty nice as well. Dark Hall, Book of Moon, 2 MST, 1 Foolish Burial, again setting things to the graveyard so we can do what we need. 2 Instant Fusion, nice in this deck, another thing that we can dump just in order to, you know, make plays with Summoner Monk or make plays with XYZ, so either way, very nice for us. 1 Reinforcement of the Army, not many targets in this deck, but, you know, another card that you can easily use to get out your dumping cards, which is very nice. 2 Forbidden Lance, focusing on, you know, higher XYZs and Synchro, so I like Forbidden Lance for this deck. And 1 for 1 really has nice consistency with Mirage. We can do it with Avenger as well, but it's better with Mirage. Still a nice card to have. Again, getting rid of cards in our hand, really nice for this deck. So now for the traps, some of the big power from Infernities comes from their traps. So 3 Infernity Break, allowing us to easily destroy cards, which is nice. 1 Infernity Barrier. This was limited recently, kind of sucks for Infernities, but it's a very powerful card, so I can understand why it was limited. Lets you, you know, pretty much negate anything, which is very strong. And then a lot of staple traps. Again, we, you know, want to protect our monsters, and we want to have things that we can set easily and use easily. So we're using a lot of them, like 2-Dimensional Prison and Mirror Force and Fiendish Chain. Things like that makes a lot of sense. So now for the extra deck, we're going to have 2 fusions with Instant Fusion. Fusionist, just any level 3 is fine, really doesn't matter for this deck. For your level 4, you do want a dark type, whatever you want, like Darkfire Dragon or whatever it is, Kamionwizard. You want it dark, obviously, so you can make plays with like Infernity Avenger or something like that. Or, you know, you could make out Master Key Beetle. So, you know, whatever you do, probably should make it dark unless you're looking for other weird plays. For the XYZ, is going to have Leviathan and Zenmaines, very powerful level 3s that will allow us to make additional plays. Lavalval Chain, just way too good for this deck, setting up what you need very easily, so we have 2 copies of it. 1 Master Key Beetle, I find this is a really good card to use in a deck like this. Silent Honor, Exciton, Diamond Direwolf, Gagaga, whatever 4 stars you want to use, try to use the most powerful ones that will work really well with this deck. And then for the Synchros, because we have this dark tuner that we're going to be using. You want to abuse the fact that there's a lot of dark synchros that are usually harder to get out. So Beelze, Void Ogre, extremely powerful for this deck, allowing you to obviously make use of the fact that you have no cards in your hand, which is pretty normal for this deck. And Infernity Doom Dragon, another very powerful card. You know, it's part of the Infernity archetype, so I definitely like using this and can be useful to destroy things, as well as Scrap Dragon, another one of my favorites. You can use other generic ones if you want, but you know, our extra deck is kind of limited, so it's up to you. A lot of choice in this deck when it comes to the extra deck. In the main deck, you don't have a lot many choices, but in the extra deck and kind of the strategy you're using, you do have a lot of additional choices. So now for the side deck, if you haven't seen a video of mine before, my side deck is just kind of recommended card choices that could be really good for this deck. Just some ideas I'm throwing around, not meant to be a side deck for matches, you know, just things I want you guys to think about. So you can use Archfiend Harris to search out some things. Infernity Beetle I'm not a fan of at all, but you can run it if you want. I just don't think it's very good for what you're trying to do. There's a ton of other 4-star XYZs you can use: Utopia, Maystroke, Gem Knight, Photon, whatever you want to use. If you're using more of a full XYZ archetype, you'll have access to a lot of the other ones. Ton of other synchros you can use depending on your levels: Catastor, Black Rose, Mistworm. I'm focusing on the 8 stars, but these are more situational, so it's up to you. Crimson Blader, other generic 8 stars. 100 Eyes Dragon, another one you can use, which can be very useful. Other spells you can use: Upstart Goblin if you want to thin the deck. We're using, you know, the full 40 cards, but if you don't want to use that, you can use Upstart to make the deck fast. Transmodify can be really nice for this deck, bumping up Necromancer, so that can be useful. Sylvan Charity, another new card that came out. Cards that can just help you get rid of your hand can be useful, but it's up to you. Soul Charge, I'm not trying to use Soul Charge in every single one of my decks. I keep trying to say that, but I could see the power in this deck with all the graveyard stuff you're doing. If you're using the XYZ variant, I'd recommend Safe Zone, because you'll probably run more Master Key Beetles, and this could be useful for locking your opponent down and protecting your stuff. Wiretap, Trap Stun, other things to deal with back row. I think we have enough, but those options are there if you want more options to deal with back row. So that's my Infernity deck. Again, it's pretty staple. What you're going to run with this deck, the skeletons out there, is pretty simple. A lot of people run the same stuff, but you still have some options in your spells and traps in the extra deck. So, you know, play around with it. Try to use, you know, what you think would be more fun for you. But I try to use, you know, what's staple, what I think will be very, very strong. I really like this deck because of the ability to move very fast and continually bring out XYZs and Synchros over and over again, which can be very, very powerful. But if you guys have your own Infernity decks, you could post below. Let me know in the comments. Maybe you have some suggestions for me. So any cool cards you guys are thinking about, I definitely love to hear about that. But as always, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you later.